The special unit, protecting Princess Leonor. Night settles over Madrid before the motorcade moves. Street lights reflect off polished metal. Windows darken. Distance is measured in seconds, not meters. Between the public gaze and the future of the Spanish state, something moves first. Princess of Asturias Leonor de Borbón y Ortiz appears only after the space around her has already been shaped. Not cleared, shaped, every entry rehearsed, every variable reduced. The presence surrounding her is quiet by design. No insignia meant to be noticed. No gestures meant to reassure. The future of the state is never left unguarded. Spain does not speak openly about how it protects continuity. It does not need to. The protection is institutional, not dramatic. It predates the individual and will outlast her. What matters is not who stands closest to Leonor, but what they represent, the state's refusal to leave succession exposed to chance. Most people assume royal protection is reactive. A response to danger. A shield raised only when threats are visible. That assumption is comforting, and completely wrong. Protection, at this level, is proactive architecture. It exists because the institution exists. Not because danger has arrived, but because it always might. This is the living thread of continuity. From the moment Leonor was designated heir, the state recalibrated its defenses. Quietly, permanently, not in response to her personality, her age, or her popularity, but to her position in the constitutional order. Spain's monarchy does not rely on charisma. It relies on predictability, and predictability requires control of the unseen. At around 2 minutes in, the frame tightens. The question is no longer who protects her, but why the protection is so deliberately invisible. Because visibility invites interpretation, interpretation invites speculation, and speculation is corrosive to legitimacy. If the public sees fear, it assumes weakness. If it sees force, it assumes instability. So it sees neither. The unit operates in silence because silence preserves normalcy. And normalcy is the crown's most valuable asset. Security for an heir is not about preventing an incident. It is about preventing a narrative. One that suggests fragility. One that suggests the future can be interrupted. Spain learned this lesson the hard way. Through abdications that came too late. Through moments when the monarchy became the story instead of the framework holding the story together. The modern doctrine is clear. The crown must appear inevitable. By minute 5, the phrase returns, heavier with implication. It is not a single team in the cinematic sense. It is a layered system. Intelligence, coordination, military protocol, civil authority. Each component knows only what it must. No heroism, no spotlight, just redundancy. If one layer fails, another absorbs the shock. This is not paranoia. It is governance. National identity is woven into these rituals. Spain is a country where symbols matter precisely because power is restrained. The monarchy's authority is symbolic, but its vulnerability is real. That contradiction demands protection that is absolute yet unseen. And there is a deeper mystery here, one rarely acknowledged. The unit's greatest success is not stopping threats. It is preventing the public from ever wondering whether threats exist. Because once that question enters the national imagination, continuity begins to fray. At 8 minutes, something unresolved becomes apparent. The system depends on restraint not only from the protected, but from the protectors. They must never overstep, never dominate a scene, never appear to control the air they exist to preserve. Their power is immense, and their visibility must be negligible. This balance is fragile. Too much presence, and the monarchy looks besieged. Too little, and it looks careless. The margin for error is thin, and narrowing. As Leonor's public role expands, so does the complexity of her protection. International travel, military training, ceremonial appearances where symbolism outweighs safety in the public imagination. Each moment forces the system to adapt without revealing adaptation. By the midpoint, the pressure increases. Europe is less predictable. Public trust in institutions is uneven. The very idea of inherited roles is questioned more openly than at any point in recent Spanish history. None of this targets Leonor directly. But all of it increases the stakes around her. The unit does not respond to opinion. It responds to risk. And risk, in this era, is diffuse. A protest that turns symbolic. A lone actor seeking meaning. A digital narrative that escapes containment. The institution senses strain long before the public does. At 14 minutes, the point of no return approaches quietly. The more essential the unit becomes, the less it can ever withdraw. Protection, once normalized at this level, cannot be scaled back without signaling danger. So the system commits fully, permanently. The heir is never alone again. Not truly, not institutionally. This is not confinement, it is inheritance. Observers abroad read this differently. In the United States, protection of leaders is visible, heavily armed, openly justified by threat. In the United Kingdom, royal security blends tradition with ceremony, softened by familiarity. Canada and Australia see protection as procedural, distant from daily political life. Germany, shaped by its history, reads restraint and discipline as signs of seriousness. Spain reads something else. Spain reads survival. By 19 minutes, the future presses closer. Leonor will eventually assume a role that cannot be paused. And the unit that protects her today is already preparing for a monarch, not a princess. The scale changes. The consequences sharpen. Any disruption would not merely endanger a person. It would destabilize a constitutional rhythm decades in the making. That is why protection is framed as inevitability, not reaction. The future of the state is never left unguarded. In the final moments, the phrase returns one last time, stripped of mystery and left as fact. Not a secret force, not a shadow army, but a structural certainty. As long as the crown exists, something will stand between it and chaos. Silent, uncredited, ready, Leonor continues forward, visible and composed. Around her, the architecture of protection holds. Unseen, unspoken, unresolved. History pauses here, just long enough to notice the stillness. And then it moves on.